So this next story is going to be from one of the times I was out on the road, and we were just driving. It was either through Pittsburgh or Cincinnati, one of those bigger cities out there between the East Coast and Missouri. And we were driving, and all of a sudden, a guy came up next to me and just started honking his horn like crazy. And he's just honking and honking. I'm like, oh, what's up with this guy? And I look over, and he's just waving and frantic. And I'm like, okay, guy. And I wave back at him, and I'm like, this is really weird. And he keeps going on and going on and just like making a commotion. And I'm like, what is going on? I start realizing that he's pointing behind me, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And I look in my rearview mirror, and I see a little bit of what appears to be flames. And I turn around and look in the bed of the truck, and the entire bed of my truck is on fire. And keep in mind, I have a trailer that has a machine in there, a bunch of propane, and all our tools and all kinds of stuff in the back. And I'm like, oh no, immediately. I'm like, oh, this is very bad. And so what had happened is that we had all of our clothing in the bed of the truck and all of our suitcases and all that stuff. And we also were smoking cigarettes, and somebody had thrown a cigarette out of the window, and it went into our bags. And obviously the polyester or whatever, I don't know what happened, but it caught our luggage on fire, and that stuff was all on fire. All of our luggage in the bed of the truck was flaming. And we're immediately like, oh no. So we pull over and we're freaking out, and we're like, oh no. And we jump in the back, and there was 5 of us, and obviously it's all of our stuff. So we're like, oh, this is bad. And we jump in the bed of the truck, and we're like fighting and stomping and stomping and throwing it out, and then like stomping all the stuff and getting all the fire out in the bed of the truck. And we get all the clothes out, and we're looking at everything, and we're like, whew, man, we got it all out. And we're so proud of ourselves. We're like, oh man, we got the fire out. And we're looking at the bed of the truck, and we're like, whew. And we go to get out, and we turn around and look, and we had thrown some of the flaming clothes out and didn't realize it, but there was a big grassy field that was super dry right next to us. And when we turned around and looked, the field was already like an eighth of the way ablaze and massively on fire. And we were like, oh no, what do we do? And we just immediately realized we were in way over our heads. And at that point, our clothes were still, we tried putting them out, the rest of the clothes on the fire on the side of the road, but there was hardly anything there. It just was like something random that had barely caught it on fire. But we tried to fight that for a second and realized that we couldn't do it. And then we looked back at the truck while we were trying to fight the field, and the truck had caught back on fire. So we're like, oh no. So we jump back in the truck, we put the truck back out, and we realize we got to get water, and we got to do something, and that we're in way over our heads. So we start driving down to the gas station, to the next exit. We didn't know where we were going. And we're driving just randomly. We had no idea. This all happened at us all at once, and we're just going situational. And so we drive, and we're calling 911 so somebody can go put out the fire, while we're driving, and we let them know. And so we pull in, and we just pull into the very first place. And obviously my whole thought was, obviously a gas station's going to have water. And I didn't think about it beyond that. It was an intense moment, and I just knew I needed water. And so we pull up, and we didn't know where we were, but we pulled up straight into the hood, man. And all of a sudden, these 5 white guys in this big white truck with this big white trailer pull into the gas station, just the bed ablaze. And there were people all hanging out and stuff, and the whole entire gas station scattered. Everybody just bolted and got the hell out of there because I didn't really think about it. I was just thinking about fire. I didn't think about moving it to a gas station, which was more dangerous. I was so focused, and sometimes I do that in life. It's a thing I'm very guilty of. I hyper focus and just get tunnel vision and don't see anything besides the task at hand. And I just saw putting out the fire, getting water, and I didn't realize I was taking it to a gas station. But no, we just ran inside, and we're like, water, and we just basically took the water off the shelves and took it to the bed of the truck while we're patting it out, and we went back and paid for it, but in the moment we were just like all in an emergency doing whatever we could. But we got it all put out, and everything was fine. Besides our baggage, and one guy in particular, all his baggage burnt. And he still reminds me of this story a lot when I see him. Poor Jordo, man. But just one guy's bags were mainly burned. The rest of our stuff, it burned a little bit. All of our stuff had a little bit of damage, but he lost it all. It was mainly his stuff that burnt, unfortunately. But just another one of those wild, crazy rides, just randomly driving down the interstate and all of a sudden, boom, my truck's on fire. And you never know what to expect in life. And sometimes life just throws you random objectives and obstacles, and you just got to figure it out as you go in the moment. And you can only do what you can do, and it may not always work out perfect, but I mean, it'll all work out in the end. So I appreciate everybody keeping along. I just try and tell funny stories, release inventions, do a little positivity in the world. I appreciate y'all. Feel free to subscribe and keep up along. Thanks, guys.